What if you could travel back in time and witness the birth of the largest continuous land empire in history? Our time traveler lands on the Mongolian steppe where the wind cuts across the face and survival begins before battle. Before Genghis Khan existed, there was Temujin, a boy surrounded by rival tribes, hunger, and dangerous alliances. Temujin was not born an emperor. He was born into a nomadic society where every family depended on animals, climate, and alliances. The traveler thinks, would I have the courage to live here without a city, without walls, without safety? On the steppe, alliances could protect a family, but alliances could also break. Temujin learned early that leadership was not only about strength, it was about trust, strategy, and survival. Little by little, Temujin gathered loyal warriors and began defeating rivals on the steppe. The Mongols were masters on horseback. For them, speed was a weapon. The traveler realizes, in open terrain, a slow army would have no chance against riders like these. Temujin rewarded loyalty and reorganized warriors by merit, not only by family ties. But uniting the steppe meant facing powerful chiefs who did not accept losing influence. The disputes ended in war. Mongol unity was born through agreements, fear, and combat. The traveler ducks behind a rock and thinks, how would I escape this? After defeating rivals and forming alliances, Temujin approached a decisive moment. In 1206, a great assembly recognized Temujin as Genghis Khan. From that moment on, he was no longer only Temujin, he was Genghis Khan, leader of a new Mongol power. The traveler feels he has just seen a change of scale. A divided steppe was beginning to become an empire. The Mongol army was fast, organized, and trained to act like a machine in motion. They could advance, retreat, pretend to flee, and attack again before the enemy understood the plan. To the traveler, it was like watching a swarm of arrows, horses, and dust. Messengers carried orders across great distances, helping keep the empire connected. On the map, the arrows begin to spread, first across the steppe, then beyond it. Mongol campaigns reached walled cities, wealthy markets, and kingdoms that did not expect such speed. For the inhabitants of cities, the arrival of the Mongols could mean panic, siege, and destruction. This part of history must be told carefully. Mongol expansion was brutal and caused enormous human suffering. Many cities resisted, others surrendered. The consequences varied, but fear spread quickly. The traveler asks himself, would I open the gates? Would I run? Would I resist? Genghis Khan did not rely only on war. He also used administrators, laws, and communication. The traveler realizes that empires do not survive only with swords. They need orders, records, and routes. Over time, Mongol conquests connected distant regions through commercial and diplomatic routes. Messengers, merchants, and envoys could cross enormous areas under Mongol influence. But on the map, every red arrow also represents conflict, fear, and interrupted lives. History is not only about telling who won, it is about remembering who paid the price. Mongol strength came from the combination of discipline, mobility, intelligence, and psychological terror. The traveler tries to follow the plan on the ground, but the movements are too fast. In just a few decades, the Mongols became a feared force across much of Eurasia. For some, the empire brought more connected routes. For others, it brought destruction and foreign rule. The traveler understands that the same empire could be seen as a bridge, a threat, or a catastrophe depending on where you stood. Genghis Khan also incorporated useful people into the empire, including artisans, technicians, and administrators. The traveler notices a pattern. Conquering was one thing, administering what was conquered was another. Still, the reputation of the Mongols grew mainly because of the fear caused by their military campaigns. The traveler thinks, would I have the courage to call this glory, knowing the suffering that came with it? When Genghis Khan died in 1227, the empire would continue growing under his successors. Genghis Khan disappears from the scene, but his mark remains on Eurasian politics, wars, and routes. After him, his descendants and generals continued administering and expanding the Mongol world. The Mongol Empire would become enormous, but it would also eventually divide into different khanates. If you were on that steppe, would you follow Genghis Khan, flee from him, or try to resist? Genghis Khan was a leader, conqueror, organizer, and symbol of brutal expansion. The final question is not simple. What makes someone remembered for centuries? Unity, conquest, or fear? Our time traveler returns to the present carrying one certainty: history is never made from one side. And now, which other historical figure do you want to visit with him?